So I think the dots are going to be front and center as they typically are, as well as the comments from Fed Chair Powell. So for the dots, I think they're very much going to stay with the 4 hikes this year. I think if anything, there's going to be a consolidation around that median, which means that more and more of the Fed officials are going to be convinced, yes, they're going to be able to execute one more hike after today's hike.
December.
Exactly, the December hike. And then I think next year is going to stick at 3. We're going to get 2021 dots, which will be interesting, and the long-term dots are interesting.
What does that mean? So that this is the projections of the Fed members of how many hikes they're going to be next year, right?
Right, and beyond. So I think we're getting a really interesting conversation is what's the end game? How high can rates actually go? What is that terminal rate? And increasingly, Fed officials are signaling to us it's getting higher. They think they can actually see restrictive policy, which means that they'll bring rates above whatever they consider that long-run neutral to be.
Jason, do you agree with the fact that the Fed can just basically stay on autopilot raising rates with this economy seemingly looking very strong and shaking off the impact so far of the tariffs?
Look, I agree with Michelle. We're going to obviously see a rate hike today. We're going to see a strong signal about one more this year. I think that's appropriate with the unemployment rate low, inflation drifting towards its target. Interest rates will still be accommodative, even with 2 more hikes this year, as they should be, because I think we should try to push a little bit more. I'm less worked up over what the dots show for next year and the year after, because the Fed has no idea what it's doing next year. The Fed certainly has no idea what it's doing the year after that, because it's really going to depend. Is some of this inflation temporary just due to energy and it's going to fall out of the system? Or is it going to keep building? Are we going to finally see the wage momentum we've been counting on? Is the trade war going to get worse and start hurting the economy? What do we think our star is? All of that's going to play out over the next year. They don't know, and their decisions are going to depend on all of those types of factors.
Does that mean, Jason, that you expect the word accommodative to remain, at least today?
I expect it to remain because they're below their estimate of neutral. They're below most everyone's estimate of neutral. And so, we have both a fiscal policy that's expansionary right now and a monetary policy that's expansionary. Fiscal policy will be a bit less expansionary next year, so will monetary policy. And, it's possible that we're executing a smooth landing of the type that historically we haven't been able to engineer, but maybe this Fed's finally been able to do it.